Welcome to gaming news for September, and as is tradition, here's why Blizzard is in trouble this month. For those out of the loop, Activision Blizzard was hit by a California lawsuit near the end of July after it was accused of having a frat boy culture, with numerous reports of women facing some pretty serious cases of harassment and discrimination. Viewers who want a detailed breakdown can watch our entry from last month, but since then, the company has been accused of withholding evidence relating to these incidents, with HR staff allegedly shredding key documents surrounding the case. Earlier this month, employees of the company filed another lawsuit relating to the hiring of a union-busting law firm, stating that the company was engaging in coercive tactics to prevent employees from organizing themselves into quote, a more equitable, sustainable, and diverse workplace. Hilariously, one of Blizzard's core values is that every voice matters, which doesn't stand up quite so well when management is paying millions to a law firm to threaten their employees to stay quiet. To make matters worse, Activision Blizzard CEO Bobby Kotick was formally subpoenaed this month, with him now being required to hand over boardroom documents, communication logs, and anything relating to sexual harassment that might have passed over his desk. The mounting lawsuits have compelled even more key figures within the company to leave, including Blizzard's chief legal officer, Claire Hart, its chief people officer, Claudine Norton, and Chaco Sonny, the executive producer of Overwatch 2. It should be noted that none of those leaving appear to be involved in any allegations of misconduct. On a completely unrelated note, the Overwatch finals wrapped up this month, with some information on Overwatch 2 getting dropped in the process. However, because the writing deadline for this script lands before the event itself, I'm going to be making some educated guesses. Pro players likely played a few show matches while showing off gameplay of Sojourn, the one hero they've been teasing since 2019. A few characters from Overwatch 1 likely had their reskins unveiled, and the developers probably announced that because DPS is the most popular role, they've decided to add 9 new damage dealers to the game, move Reinhardt to the damage category, and significantly nerf healing to accommodate this new direction. There's also a new hero called Pogo, who can jump really high, while his entire ability set is based around ice cream. Viewers who want to confirm these predictions can watch your Overwatch for the 6 videos they've inevitably made on the subject. Viewers might remember the Apple vs Epic Games lawsuit, which started in August of last year between CEOs Tim Cook and Tim Sweeney as the battle to claim the title as the ultimate Tim. In the lawsuit, Epic made the case that Apple's App Store violates antitrust laws, as their entire closed ecosystem forces developers to give up a 30% commission for every in-app purchase, without any way of circumventing this cut. In a way to protest these restrictions, Epic initially provided their own method of payment for in-app purchases for Fortnite, and when Apple eventually pulled the game from their store, Epic immediately hit them with their pre-planned lawsuit. After over a year, the ruling from this case has been decided, and holy fucking shit, is this a huge loss for Apple. The court ruled that Apple's policies did in fact violate antitrust laws, and have demanded that iOS application policies be updated within 90 days, allowing developers to skirt around the 30% cut entirely. Apple currently makes an astronomical $19 billion per year from this commission fee, so as you can imagine, this could be very expensive for the company and potentially extremely profitable for developers, who can now increase their revenue by an entire 30%, seemingly overnight. However, although Epic won the lawsuit, they were also forced to do so at a high cost, with not only the court forcing them to pay $6 million to Apple for the lost revenue for their initial publicity stunt, but much more significantly, Apple has decided to blacklist Epic from their store completely, meaning there's no real winner from the lawsuit, rather one company who lost a whole lot more than the other. Meanwhile, Battlefield 2042 has been delayed to November 19th. A new Doom-like game called Thatcher's Tech Base tasks players with sending Margaret Thatcher back to hell, and Discord's latest funding round values the company at a cool $15 billion. Nintendo had their own brand of surprises this month, but none more unexpected than news of a Mario movie set to release at the end of next year. The movie has big shoes to fill when going up against the 1993 Super Mario Bros, but it seems as if Nintendo are happy to tap into their $13 billion in spare cash if it means paying half the actors in Hollywood for their time. Notable casting decisions include Chris Pratt as Mario, Charlie Day as Luigi, Anya Taylor-Joy as Peach, Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong, and Jack Black as King Koopa. Some commenters have called the movie terribly miscast, while others speculate that Nintendo simply googled the word actor and hired the first results they found. In any case, video game movies aren't exactly known to bring in the Oscar nominations, but simply in terms of the meme potential, I expect this movie to be dominating the meta well after Christmas next year. Viewers who want to watch the movie from the comfort of their own home might be interested in today's sponsor. If you're looking to listen to music on the go, but want something more subtle than your gaming headphones designed for astronauts, then Raycon's wireless earbuds might be what your life is missing. I've owned my pair of Raycons since the start of 2020. There are no shortage of reasons to get yourself some Raycons with its 8-hour playtime, 32-hour battery life, built-in mic, sleek rubber oil look, practical wireless design, and a tiny case that can fit into even the smallest of pockets. I won't pretend to be an expert on audio, but with the tick of approval from Mr. Snoop Dogg himself, I probably don't need to be. Raycon is really easy to recommend, as not only are they half the price of other premium earbuds, but if you're even 1% unsatisfied, they'll give you a full refund within the first 45 days, with no hesitation. On top of this, going to buyraycon.com/surswag will get you another 15% discount for a limited time, or just click on the link in the description like a normal fucking person. Raycon, adapting to the extinction of the headphone jack. Meanwhile, Quantic Dream, the studio behind Detroit Become Human, is supposedly working on a Star Wars game. The Steam Deck enters its final stage of development, and the long-suspected Nintendo 64 and Sega Genesis collection has been confirmed for a release in October. This next story comes from none other than mainland Taiwan, sometimes called China by the locals, who have decided to effectively ban video games for citizens under the age of 18. Younger gamers will only be allowed to play between the hours of 8 to 9 PM on Fridays, weekends, and public holidays, just enough collective time to create a character in Skyrim, find a single competitive game as a damage dealer in Overwatch, or update shaders in Apex Legends. Game companies will be forced to put real name identification systems in place to ensure their compliance with the new law, and will be barred completely from offering these services outside of these hours altogether. The Chinese government has been known to strictly control all manner of industries within the country, most recently clamping down on tech giants such as Alibaba, Tencent, and NetEase, which have all seen considerable stock losses due to government intervention. It seems as if discounting Muslim Uyghurs who are getting ethnically cleansed by the Chinese government, democracy advocates, supporters of an independent Hong Kong, business owners, ethnic minorities, women, homosexuals, and fans of human rights, gamers truly are the most oppressed minority in China. It appears as if PlayStation finally got tired of seeing Microsoft prancing around with its impressive list of Game Pass titles, and decided to show off a ton of games that they have no intention of sharing. The PS5 showcase came and went this month, with perhaps the most significant announcement being an entire remake of Knights of the Old Republic, a title which first saw the light of day in 2003. Although Sony has announced its intent to allow PC players to jump into a galaxy far far away, it appears as if Xbox and Switch players won't be invited to a party on Naboo anytime soon. It also seems as if Insomniac is going all in on their Marvel partnership, as their presentation revealed the existence of both Spider-Man 2 and a standalone Wolverine title. Spider-Man 2 featured a team-up of both Peter Parker and Miles Morales, before showing a closing shot of none other than Venom, who is suspected to be the main villain of the game. Spider-Man 2 is stated to drop sometime in 2023. Wolverine on the other hand, had no release date at all, but if it's anything close to the developer Spider-Man games, we can probably expect another banger in the pipeline. The showcase also revealed long-awaited footage of God of War Ragnarok, which showcased some story elements and the familiar gameplay we know and love from our favorite Greek-turned-Norse God of War. The trailer was of course as beautiful as you might imagine, but not nearly as beautiful as the game's depiction of Thor, as mighty as he is majestic. I for one am just waiting for Sony to announce Ghost of Tsushima for PC, which coincidentally leads very well into our next story. Perhaps one of the most intriguing stories this month is when a software developer figured out a way to see every piece of software within Nvidia's cloud gaming platform, GeForce Now. The leak, which might be one of the biggest in gaming history, was confirmed by Nvidia themselves, although it should be noted that the games list was used for quote, internal tracking and testing, and that inclusion on the list is neither confirmation nor an announcement of any game. With this in mind, the games list that was found is absolute fucking bonkers, even if only half the titles turn out to be legitimate, with God of War, Returnal, Ghost of Tsushima, Demon Souls, Halo 5, Half-Life 2 Remastered, Payday 3, a bunch of untitled Ubisoft games, Crysis 4, and Gears 6, all being listed. It's likely that a ton of the games leaked are indeed in various stages of development. However, a few games in particular seem to have been abandoned, reworked, or put on the shelf for later. One such title was Halo 5 for PC, in which the developer 343 denies having a hand in making, and Titanfall 3, which is suspected to just be the initial working title for Apex Legends. Incidentally, the Titanfall series had a whole story arc of its own this month, when Respawn community coordinator Jason Garza had this to say about a potential sequel.
Can we have any comments on Titanfall? Yeah, it's a game with a lot of mechs. It's an old one. It was back in when Xbox first launched. Yeah, that's it. Don't get your hopes up, man. I've said this before. It's just we don't have anything in works. There's nothing there. So we got too many other games in the works right now at work.
Respawn later responded publicly with quote, "Contrary to what some folks are reporting, Titanfall is the very core of our DNA. Who knows what the future holds? If I were to guess what this means, I'd say that Titanfall 3 likely doesn't exist in any capacity at Respawn Entertainment. However, the company hasn't ruled out a return to the series long into the future. I've talked about this before, but from the direction Apex Legends is taking, it wouldn't be surprising if Respawn instead opts to simply add more Titanfall related content into Apex and develop an all-encompassing live service to avoid splitting their own player base. For a comprehensive list of games revealed in the GeForce Now leak, viewers are free to check the link in the description. In terms of new releases, September saw the launch of New World, Life is Strange True Colors, Deathloop, Lemnis Gate, Sable, and Diablo 2 Resurrected. October on the other hand, is set to be a massive month for games, with the release of Far Cry 6, Back 4 Blood, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, Riders Republic, Mario Party Superstars, Metroid Dread, and Age of Empires 4. Wallaloo. Viewers who have an interest in non-gaming related news can expect our regular news video at the end of the month, but until then, have a fucking good one.